Hello, welcome to this page. If you're here, you're a curious molecule. No offense though. Our body is basically made up of molecules, as we're going to discover in biochemistry. So if you are a curious molecule, you just want to know about biochemistry, or you are a student in the medical field and you have difficulties with biochemistry, you're in the right place, because I'm going to be easier to understand. I'm going to be making it simpler, and I'm going to be making it more practical for you. So you're welcome, and you stick with me. Don't go away. So let's get right to it. Okay, so when you hear biochemistry, I think you imagine some molecules and biology combined together. I don't know what you imagine, but that's what I imagined when I first heard biochemistry. A combination of these two, but mostly the chemistry, obviously. Chemistry is completely spelled out. But let's see. The chemistry of life. From the two words bio and chemistry. Biology, which we know, living organisms, and then chemistry. You know, in chemistry we did molecules, we did reactions, bonding, and all of those things. So basically, biochemistry will be a combination of those two. But you would think that life is more of, since you say biology, living organisms, is more of biology. But you'll be shocked that majority of our body, the functioning of our body, is more of chemistry. All the molecules we know, carbohydrates, proteins, they have certain structures. They're able to carry out certain functions because of certain mechanisms or reactions that they can undergo. They break down to provide energy, they build up other molecules, and so on. So basically in biochemistry, that's what you study, and you get to understand how all of these molecules work together to make a living organism what it is, how it functions, or what it does basically. So that's what we're going to be learning. You're going to be understanding what is happening inside your body, generally inside the cells in particular, and even at the level of the DNA. The scope of biochemistry. This page will actually not be so detailed. It's rather for medical laboratory students, nursing students, and all of that. You don't do in-depth biochemistry as compared to someone who is doing a degree in biochemistry. So we are going to be limited in our scope, but biochemistry covers a lot of fields which we might not go or cover in this particular video. So in biochemistry, we basically study biomolecules, as I made mention of, as the page suggests, Kurious Molecules. So we are molecules. We are made up of proteins, carbohydrates, lipids, nucleic acid, minerals, vitamins, all of that. We are made up of all these molecules which work together to make us function the way we do. So we are going to be looking at them. We're going to be looking at these biomolecules specifically, one after the other, learning more about them, maybe their structures, their functions, how they interact, and all of that. We also know of enzymes. Most other molecules we will see probably fall under these biomolecules. Like you have enzymes are proteins. Most of them are proteins. You have some RNA enzymes or DNA enzymes, but most enzymes that we know are proteins. Hormones, most hormones are proteins. You also have lipid hormones, steroid hormones, and all of that, but you would find that most of them can be classified under these biomolecules. And also, since we mentioned that the body works together in a certain synergy, or the molecules in the body have to interact, there should be a communication. Each cell has this each cell in the body cannot work alone, so there is a cell-to-cell communication. I mentioned before, the body works because of these biomolecules working at the level of the cells, but those cells don't work in isolation. That's why it's difficult to replicate exactly what happens in our body when we work with just cells in the laboratory, because there is a particular communication that all cells in the body have. We're going to be seeing a little bit of that. Now we are going to try to see how biochemistry is applied, because one reason people are scared of the course, or people don't like it because they feel like it's so abstract. But the truth is, it is very much applicable, especially with research that is going on, like in health especially. We are where we are today because people have been able to study the body so much. They've been able to study cells so much. They've been able to study living organisms so much. And as I mentioned before, living organisms are mostly the chemical reactions, the chemical molecules that function in them. So there is so much applicability of biochemistry, and the first one we obviously know it's in the health clinical, which deals with disease. So disease diagnosis, prognosis, which is like trying to predict the likelihood of getting sick of a particular disease, and treatments, also following up people's treatments. There are aspects of biochemistry, there are aspects of biomolecules, there are aspects of reactions that you would measure to be able to give that conclusion. Okay, we have applications in the industry, pharmaceutical, food, cosmetic industry. We know of these biomolecules that we have talked about. Food contains these biomolecules. Some cosmetic products contain these biomolecules. Pharmaceutical products will contain these biomolecules. Or if you understand how the body works, if the body somehow falls, stops working in that particular way, then you are able to produce something that you know would work in the form of a drug. Or you know that you need this particular food, but you don't have it in sufficient amounts. You're able to, in the laboratory, build similar products that look like that, and so on. There's various applications, and all of this require you to understand the basics of all of these biomolecules. And the greatest application is in research, which spans all of this, because to be able to come up with, to be able to properly diagnose diseases, because researchers went through a lot of studies, a lot of trials to be able to tell you that this is the progress, this is a mechanism of this particular disease. In agriculture, in health, in different areas, research is carried out using aspects or using information and knowledge from biochemistry. Okay, so now I also mentioned you would be finding out how it's applied in your daily life. So there are many questions you ask about your body. Which biochemistry or understanding it will help you know or understand better? Why would you feel sleepy after eating a particular meal? What is the mechanism? When you eat, what happens? Which molecule is produced? How does that molecule affect some cells in your body? That's when you get to understand why you would feel sleepy after eating. Why would oranges help you when they're sick? What particular molecule do they contain? How does that molecule help in boosting that particular system that helps to fight disease for you, for example, which is your immune system? So we're going to be seeing all of this. How does food provide you with energy? And if you know that we eat food, but somehow we get energy, but majority of that food is thrown out as waste. So there must be something that serves as energy, which is the currency of the body. The same way you can use a particular nation's currency to obtain a food or to obtain what you need. The body also has a currency to obtain its energy from the food that you eat. So what is that particular? So suggest your answers in the comments, or give your answers, your own explanations for this, because this will be very interactive. With courses that kind of look complex, it's good when we together share our ideas, because trust me, I still have a lot to learn from biochemistry too. Okay, so now we're also going to be learning some very fun facts in every lecture or every video that we're going to get. I know we already know that majority of the body is water. The percentage varies, but we know that majority of a human being or water is a certain large percentage in the composition of the human body. But do you know that out of that percentage of water in the body, majority of it will be found inside of cells rather than out of the cells? Well, the first time I heard that, I was imagining cells just being inflated like a balloon when you put some, or an elastic substance when you're putting water in it. But well, the body is in a balance where there is more of water in the cells than out of the cells, about 60%, and which varies depending on the person's age, the sex, and all of that. So this is an interesting fact which we are going to be learning more of, and also getting a lot of other facts interesting. Okay, if you have watched the video till this moment, you should definitely like, because I'm sure you learned one or two things from there. And if you're curious to learn more, you should definitely subscribe, because there's more coming your way. Don't forget to comment the answers to the questions that have been asked in the comment section below, and share with those whom you think might benefit from this course too. Thank you, and see you next time.